More than 1 million species face extinction because of climate change. Climate change is a huge rising problem around the world that needs our attention and contribution to stop it. Today, I'm going to explain what climate change is. Then, I'm going to talk about how there will be many long-term effects that will arise and continue to worsen over the years because of climate change. And finally, I'm going to discuss the many ways we can help stop climate change. Here's what you know about climate change. In order to understand what climate change is, you first need to understand what climate is. Climate refers to the general weather conditions of a place over many years. In order to determine the climate of a region, its weather needs to be observed for many years. As climate gets, NASA states 1 or 2 weeks of rainy weather wouldn't change the fact that Phoenix is typically dry desert climate. Even though it's raining right now, we will still expect Phoenix to be dry because that is usually the case. Climate change describes a change in the average conditions of an environment. For example, conditions becoming drier, warmer, or wetter over several decades. Another example is how the United States used to be covering glaciers, and now the climate is warmer and there are fewer glaciers. Earth's climate has been changing before humans were even in the picture. However, scientists have seen unusual changes recently. The temperature of the Earth has been increasingly and drastically rising than anticipated because of humans. There will be many long-term effects that will rise and continue to worsen because of climate change. One big long-term effect that will worsen because of climate change are droughts and heat waves. Summer temperatures will continue to rise. There will be a reduction of soil moisture and heat waves. According to NASA, droughts in the southwest and central plains of the United States in the second half of the 21st century could be drier and longer than anything humans have ever seen in those regions in the last 1,000 years. The environment overall will be hotter and drier than we ever seen it. This will cause increased wildfires, damage to agriculture, and health problems. The global sea level will rise about 1 to 8 feet by 2021,000. The global sea level has already risen about 8 inches since 1880. The sea level rising is a result of the added water from the melting ice and the expansion of sea water as it warms. According to NASA, in the next several decades, storm surges and high tides could combine with sea level rise and land subsidence to further increase flooding in many regions. Sea levels will rise, devastating effects of coastal habitats. For example, it will cause flooding of wetlands, contamination with salt in aquifers and agricultural soil, and loss of habitats for fish, birds, and plants. The Arctic Ocean is expected to melt in the summer before the mid-century. Now where is climate change more obvious than in the Arctic? Since the Arctic helps regulate the temperature of the Earth, melting ice speeds up climate change. According to Daniel Beltra, when the Arctic ice melts, the oceans around it will absorb more sunlight and heat up, making the world warmer as a result. The Arctic melting will have many catastrophic impacts. For example, it will affect the wildlife that depend on that climate of the Arctic. The temperatures will rise it causes significant damages to the crops, and etc. There are many ways we can help to stop climate change, to make our world an overall better and healthier place for future generations. You can start by simply speaking up. Talk to your friends and family about what climate change is and how real it is. Inform them on how imperative it is for everyone to do their part in stopping it. Communication is the key when working together to solve a problem. Another way we can help stop climate change is to learn how to properly recycle. Recycling is an effective way to reduce your carbon footprint. Recycling helps greenhouse gas emissions by reducing energy consumption. Another way is you can also stop climate change by renewable energy sources. There are plenty of ways you can reduce consumption, including solar panels, finding a green energy provider, and even replacing your light bulbs with LEDs. Renewable energy minimizes carbon pollution and has much lower impact on our environment. Another way you can help climate change is to turn your commute. As Megan Whedon states, gas-powered vehicles guzzle up fossil fuels, clog highways, and spew out toxic greenhouse gases. Whenever possible, take a part of the many healthier alternatives like riding your bike, commuting a train or bus, or even walking. Last but definitely not least, make sure you go out and vote when the time comes. It is imperative to vote for climate conscious representatives that actually believe in climate change and will make a change to better. We have an urge for them to address that climate change is real and to create a shift in clean energy economy, since many politicians believe climate change isn't real. If everyone takes action and does their part to help stop climate change, the world would be a healthier home for everyone. While life that is being affected by climate change will keep their home, the air and climate overall will be healthier. Overall, climate change is a huge rising problem around the world that needs our attention and contribution to stop it. There will be many long-term effects that will rise and continue to worsen because of climate change. There are many ways we can help stop climate change to make our world overall better and healthier place for future generations and for this generation. Thank you. Bye.